Hi everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. It has been a little while since I have done a sit-down video discussing some book recommendations. Fall is upon us. I believe that August counts as fall. I know that there are many who do not believe so, but if this is the time for you, or if you're gearing up for the fall weather, festivities, all of that good stuff, I wanted to make an overall fall book recommendation list. So I have several different categories and genres that I want to talk about. It's not just romance, it's not just fantasy, etc, etc. A little mishmash of everything. I do want to do some genre specific videos, but I feel like this is a great place to start for myself and maybe for you as well in getting to know my taste in books. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and go by genre, and today I'm gonna begin with dark academia. I love dark academia as a genre, subgenre of either fantasy, horror, romance. Really have a couple different ones that could go in this category, but I chose one specific because I think that this is a wonderful dark academia book to pick up during the fall months, and that's going to be Bunny by Mona Awad. As you can tell by my tabbing right here, this book was well loved and received by me. I first started reading this book in 2021, ended up putting it down for one reason or another, and re-picked it back up in 2024 and finally finished it. I actually, when reading this book, read it differently. Not as in like I read eyes, ears, and all of that stuff differently. No, I picked up different things when I was reading it, depending on mental health wise, things like that. This book was really interesting and I was really amazed to see what caught my eye the first time while reading it, because I did annotate the first time. This book is very difficult to explain if you haven't heard of this book already. I find this to be dark academia slash kind of horror. Bunny is about a girl named Samantha who is, I believe, getting her PhD, and she is in this super exclusive writing group in the college, basically their major, and I believe there are 3 or 4 girls named bunnies and they call each other Bunny. As you start off with this book, she's kind of on the outside looking in. She's making fun of these group of girls, and slowly she ends up becoming their friends, getting accepted into their group, and kind of unraveling what her mentality is, what is going on, what's real, what's fake, what's false, what's in her head. Is this really happening? I don't know. I feel like you can take something different from this book depending on you and your personal lived experiences, because what I think was happening during this book, I don't think a lot of people thought the same thing. I don't know, because I feel like what Samantha had gone through and the things that she was experiencing were something different than other people got. So anyways, I highly recommend reading this book. I really enjoyed her work. I want to pick up Rouge, which is one of her more recent books, and I think I'm going to really enjoy it because this is just a great book to pick up. If you're wanting something weird, something dark, something creepy, definitely pick this one up. The next category we're going to talk about is romance. These are actually dark romances, so check your trigger warnings as always. But this first book could kind of go into that dark academia subgenre, and that is going to be Dear Reader by Tate James. This is a Why Choose Secret Society dark academia novel. So the first 2 books are currently out. The 3rd book comes out in September. I've read this one, devoured it. The 2nd book is out. I'm in the middle of it, and of course going to pick up the 3rd. Beware, they leave on cliffhangers, so if you're waiting to pick up a good full trilogy, don't like waiting for those books to come out, maybe wait until the 3rd one comes out. But honestly, it's on Kindle Unlimited. I love a why choose a book, and this is it. So our main character, she gets a scholarship to a very prestigious university. She works really hard. She goes to school basically supporting herself, and her mom ends up getting remarried, and hello, there is a really bratty stepbrother and his friends. This is a university setting. She's a little bit older. She's been in school. She's going to graduate school. If you aren't really into the really young university setting type books, I think this one would be really good. I love the female friendships and things like that come with this book, and I just love the series so far. I do know this author has written some other books that I actually have on my shelf back here. If you're looking for some already out dark romance book recommendations, check her other stuff out, but I think this one is really, really good. You have the dark academia setting, you have secret societies, and spice. Mix that all together. I really enjoyed this. Now, this book I read quite a while ago, but it has stuck with me, and I believe most of the people that have read this book agree with me, for good or bad, and that's gonna be Credence by Penelope Douglas. I love this book. I ate it up. Yes. Penelope Douglas is one of my favorite authors. I can't remember if I picked up Bully first or Corrupt. I'm pretty sure I picked up Bully. I read Corrupt back in 2016, so love her books. When Credence came out and I found out that it was super, super taboo, I was like, this has my name all over it, let's go. So our main character, her parents pass away for really unfortunate circumstances. I don't know why I kind of laughed at that. Anyways, she ends up needing to have a, not caregiver, but someone who is over the age of 18. She finds out that she has a step uncle, so he's not actually blood related. He lives in the really small town off in his own cabin in Colorado. She gets adopted by him or taken into like his house and with his two sons. So her step cousins will live there. They're around her age. Both of the brothers are very completely different. One has that dark aura, one is like kind of sunshine, and she ends up having a relationship with all three. Who is she gonna choose? I don't know. Is it gonna be the step uncle? Is it gonna be cousin number 1 or cousin number 2? I'm not really sure. Well, I do know, but I kind of wish this was a full why choose, but I don't think Penelope Douglas will ever write like a why choose reverse harem ever kind of like that, because she does choose in this one. So if you like one that actually chooses, if you like taboo, if you like a atmospheric sequestered book, this is a great one. The reason why I think this is really good for fall, they are in this cabin on a mountain, nobody around for miles. They're basically left up to their own devices and survival and all of that stuff. So very atmospheric. I really enjoyed myself. I think it's time for a reread, to be honest. A recent favorite of mine, oh my gosh, if I could go back and reread this book for the first time again, I wish that I could, and that is going to be The Poisoner by Ivy Ophelia. This cover is absolutely beautiful. Our female main character, she is a poisoner. Basically, she creates these poisons to give to women who are being abused or in situations where they can be abused and they need help. That is what she does. She ends up catching the eye of a vampire, okay? And that vampire stalks her. I heard that the audiobook is really, really good because our vampire makes little clicky sounds, and they make that in the audiobook. This has so many tabs as well. I loved this. It was so dark, so atmospheric. It is set in Victorian London, I want to say. Yes, Victorian London. These two killers find themselves together because he stalks her, and I just love this. This does end up on like a cliffhanger in a way where, oh, where is it going to go next? What's the next chapter? What is going to happen to these two characters? And I believe that the next book is coming out either later this year or beginning of next. So not too long to wait for that one, but this is just so atmospheric, so dark, so wonderful. If you love vampire romances that are a little bit different and not Twilight-y, I think this is a really good one. This has the primal play aspects. Again, like I said, check your trigger warnings, but I love this one. Loved it so much. The fall time means spooky movies and spooky books. So thrillers are going to be the next genre that I have to talk about. This is the only Colleen Hoover book that I will ever recommend and or read. I have read one other book by her, but I don't think I'm ever going to pick up another. This is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I really enjoyed this book. This was, I believe, the second book of hers that I read, and I was like, where has this writing been? What happened? This is great. I loved this. This kept me on my toes. Our main female character, she gets hired to basically become a ghostwriter for the super famous mystery thriller novel author, and that author is actually in like this comatose state, and she moves into the house with the author's husband and child. Weird things are happening. It's just really creepy. She has to go there and dig through this author's work and find out what plan was for this next book that was going to come out, because hello, they need it. If you haven't read this yet, definitely pick this up, because this one was like one of the books that really surprised me. It did leave a weird taste in my mouth at the same time because of some of the topics that were touched. And one of my old coworkers that I recommended this book to, she was like, it was really good, but at the same time it turned my stomach. So interesting phrasing there. So if you are looking for something that's a little bit intriguing, check this one out. This next book is kind of basic, but I felt like I really had to put this in here because it is such a popcorn kind of thriller, and that's going to be The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This is the only book by Freida McFadden that I have read. I know that there's some like kind of controversy around these books about, are they truly her own work? I'm not sure, but I read this book in less than a day. I just flew through it. What can I say? So again, this is another thing where a female main character goes to a housemaid this time, not a writer, and some spooky things are happening. What's gonna happen next? Who knows? I feel like with thrillers, you can't really get too into it. So let's just say this one reads super quickly. It's very easy to digest and move on to the next thing. So if you're looking to get your Goodreads goal up and you are interested in something quick, I think this one's a really good one. The very first thriller I ever read was The Silent Patient. So I do know that this made its way on Book Talk. I read this one via audiobook and read it with my eyes, both. This novel is about a woman who ends up a selective mute. She doesn't talk after whatever happened to her and her husband, and nobody really knows how her husband died. She is the only person who knows. That she ends up getting put into this asylum, and there is this young doctor who wants to help her. This one threw me for a loop. It's pretty short as well, and as my first thriller, I thought this was absolutely fabulous. Did not see it coming. I think this is a great place to start if you are looking for a thriller. I was shocked. Okay, maybe if you've read a couple thrillers you would have seen it coming or whatnot, but this book has stuck with me since like 2018, so I still remember this very vividly. The next section that I'm going to talk about is fantasy. So let's start off easy with some cozy fantasy. One of my absolute favorites is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This book I loved. I tabbed, I loved it, I read it, and I want to reread it again. This book is about a librarian who, at the beginning of this book, is actually fleeing from where she lives, works, all of that. She ends up taking her sentient house plant and fleeing to the island where she was born, grew up as a child. Her parents had a house there, and it's still there but left in disarray. She decides that is the place that she is going to go because of everything that's happening where she was living. She gets there and she realizes she needs to figure out how she's going to survive. Her main character, she's very stubborn and she wants to do it on her own, but she finds out that she does need the help of the other villagers that are there. This book was so cozy, it was so wonderful, it was so heartwarming. I love this, and it wasn't too slow like some of the other cozy fantasies. I felt like this had really great pacing. I enjoyed the small romance in it. I enjoyed the friendships and just her rediscovering her family roots as well. It was just so fabulous, and I really want to do a reread soon. If things moved around a bit, I do apologize. My camera battery died, so we're gonna restart over this next book. I am such a fan of this. I loved it. I'm waiting for the next book to come out, but it keeps getting pushed back, but that's okay. We're here, we're ready for it, and that's going to be Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. This book was like dark humor, fantasy, just such amazing goodness. So this is about a woman who has terminal cancer, I believe. She finds herself getting drawn into this book series. So this is very reminiscent, if you've seen those movies and shows, books, mangas, manhwas, where this is a very popular trope and I love it. So finding it in this format, I adore. She finds herself as the villain instead of the hero, which I love. It mixes things up a bit. So she has to survive. She needs to find herself living long enough to reach the end goal, because once she does, she's going to be able to live. She's given the cure to her cancer, etc, etc. She needs to survive, and I love it. And she just like takes the dark female villainous character to a new level, and I had so much fun. This I think would be really great to reread, like all of these points. I know that if I do a reread and really get back in there, I'm going to have a lot more tabs. And we have a duet in our dark fantasy genre. Oh, my dog's hair is all over this, but that is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is the Shepherd King duology. If you are not looking for a big series, if you're looking for something short and quick, this duology is perfect. One Dark Window follows our main character Elspeth, who finds herself kind of haunted by this nightmare card. Ever since she touched this basically like tarot card, she has been haunted by what she calls the nightmare in her head. Nobody else can see it, feel it, talk to it, all of that. Only she can. This world has a very interesting magic system. It's basically like tarot cards, and if you have this card, you have power, you have some sort of magical power, and the king has basically made it against the law, like to death, if you have any other kind of magic other than the magic that comes from these cards. The world is very dark and atmospheric in the fact that it's very gloomy, it's foggy. In the fog, it's slowly creeping up towards the town, and if you go out into this fog, bad things happen. This was so much fun. I actually really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. This book was only from one point of view. It leaves on a crazy cliffhanger, which I was not expecting. But book 2, actually the world expands. You get different points of view from other characters, that's the word, other characters. And you also get to see not just one romance, but 2. There was romance in this duology, but I preferred the world and the fantasy and that aspect of it more than I did the romance. I really did enjoy it. So if you do like romance in your stories, this definitely has it. There's 2 couples in this one couple in this, and I really liked seeing the second couple. I was really here for it, actually more than I was for the first one. But I do think that if I read it again, so I would get something out of it as well. So yeah, this one is really, really good, and as you can tell, definitely liked the second one way more by my tab. Alrighty guys, that is it for today's book recommendations for the fall time. Again, I had quite a few books to recommend, so I do hope that if you do pick these up, you do enjoy them. Or, you know, if you've read them, what are your thoughts? Do you have any recommendations for me? And I hope you have a wonderful and fabulous day, and happy reading. Bye.